football fans around the world, especially the millions of passionate Brazilian supporters. Let's talk about something that has shaken the footballing community over the last few days. Brazil, the five-time world champions, the team known for their flair, their magic, and their unstoppable attacking style, just suffered a shocking defeat against Japan. That's right, Japan, a team that has already booked their place in the World Cup, pulled off a stunning upset. And for many fans, this has raised some big questions. What is happening with Brazil? Why did their defense collapse? And most importantly, when will Brazil step back onto the pitch? And against whom? If you're a Brazilian football fan, you're probably experiencing a roller coaster of emotions right now. Some of you are frustrated and disappointed after the team's disastrous performance. Others are curious and desperate to know, when is Brazil's next match? Who will they play against? And what is Coach Carlo Ancelotti planning for the future? Well, in this video, we're going to answer all of those questions. We'll break down exactly what went wrong against Japan, why Ancelotti is experimenting with the squad, and what the roadmap looks like for Brazil's upcoming fixtures. Stick with me until the very end, because there are some important insights you don't want to miss. Let's start with the obvious. Brazil's defeat against Japan was nothing short of shocking. The Selecao looked disorganized, particularly in defense, where a few costly mistakes completely turned the match upside down. Brazil conceded goals that could have been avoided with better concentration and positioning. For a team with such a rich defensive tradition, think of Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Thiago Silva, and many others. This performance raised alarm bells. But here's the thing. Results like this, while disappointing, need context. Japan is no longer the underdog they used to be. They have consistently grown stronger over the last decade, and their qualification for the World Cup is proof of that progress. Still, when Brazil loses, it's always a headline, and fans all around the world are left wondering what went wrong. Now, before we dive into Brazil's next matches, let's take a closer look at the bigger picture. Carlo Ancelotti, one of the most experienced managers in world football, has taken charge of Brazil with a clear plan. And part of that plan involves experimentation. Yes, you heard that right. Experimentation. Brazil is currently not fielding their strongest possible squad in every match. Instead, Ancelotti is using friendly games to test the depth of the bench. He wants to see how young talents perform under pressure. He wants to identify which positions need reinforcements before the World Cup. And he wants to create a balance between experienced stars and the new generation. This is why fans should not panic after the Japan defeat. It's not the end of the world. Brazil is not collapsing. What you're seeing right now is part of a long-term process, a process designed to build a proper, competitive, and balanced squad by the time the World Cup comes around. Yes, mistakes will happen along the way, but those mistakes are lessons that will help shape the final team. Now, let's address the question that's on everyone's mind. When and where will Brazil play their next match? This is where things get a little tricky. As of now, Brazil's next fixtures are not fully confirmed. If you check Google, official Brazilian football websites, or even popular football apps, you'll notice that the Selecao schedule is still blank. The official announcement simply hasn't arrived yet. But there's some good news. According to reports from the CBF, the Brazilian Football Confederation, and several reliable media outlets, we already have a strong idea of what's coming. Roughly 2 weeks ago, Brazilian sources revealed that after facing Japan and South Korea, Brazil is expected to play 2 more international friendlies, one against Senegal and the other against Tunisia. While these matches are not yet 100% official, they're considered highly likely. So, to put it simply, Brazil's next games are very likely to be against Senegal and Tunisia. That's the roadmap. The only question now is, when exactly will these matches happen? This brings us to the international football calendar. If you look at the European leagues, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, League One, you'll notice that all of them will take a short break in November. This break usually lasts about 10 to 12 days, specifically from November 9th to November 21st. During this period, club football pauses, allowing players to join their national teams for qualifiers and friendlies. For European teams, that time will be used for World Cup qualifiers. But for Brazil and other South American giants, it's the perfect window to squeeze in friendlies. And this is when Brazil is expected to take the field against Senegal and Tunisia. So, while we don't have the official dates yet, we can confidently say Brazil will play 2 friendlies in mid-November 2025 between the 9th and the 21st. Now, another interesting question. Will Brazil face Senegal first or Tunisia? As of today, there is no official confirmation. Some insiders suggest that Brazil could open with Senegal, given the African champion's strong competitive level, and then follow up with Tunisia. But until the CBF makes its formal announcement, we can only speculate. Either way, fans can expect both matches to happen within that November window. Some of you might be thinking, they're just friendlies? Do they even matter? The answer is yes, absolutely. These matches are far more than just warm-ups. For Carlo Ancelotti, they are vital testing grounds. Facing Senegal's physical strength and Tunisia's tactical discipline will give him a clear picture of how Brazil's defense and midfield cope with different styles of play. For the players, it's a chance to prove themselves. Every young talent, every bench player, every squad member knows that the World Cup is around the corner. Performing well in these matches could mean the difference between being selected or left out. For the fans, these games are reassurance. They will reveal whether Brazil is learning from mistakes, improving their structure, and building momentum toward the World Cup. So, here's the bottom line. Yes, Brazil's defeat to Japan was painful. Yes, the defensive errors were frustrating to watch. But no, this is not the time to panic. Carlo Ancelotti knows exactly what he's doing. Experimentation is part of the process. Brazil's next matches, most likely against Senegal and Tunisia, will be played in the November international window between the 9th and 21st. Once the CBF confirms the dates, fans will finally have their official schedule. Until then, patience is key. As Brazilian supporters, your passion is what drives this team forward. And remember, when the World Cup arrives, Brazil will not be playing with a half-strength squad. They'll be ready, with stars, with depth, and with the experience gained from these experimental matches. Brazil will once again aim to bring glory to their nation. So stay tuned, because in the coming weeks, official announcements will drop, and Brazil's journey to the World Cup will continue to unfold. And right here on this channel, we'll keep you updated